Angie.com.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Such a beautiful day today on Center Street in downtown Logan. I'm Will Feelwright along with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden. And it is great to have everybody here this morning, making just sure we've got our levels set here well. And Mark, the day has finally come. This is something that you've been waiting for a long time.
You know, we've been working on this for, I don't know, 12 months. Basically since we finished last year.
The last one
we
finished.
started putting plans together. It's like, what are we going to do different next year? What can we show that's different? How can we attract more pumpkins? How can we attract more people, more vendors? So we've been working on it for a while. Yeah, but so excited for everything to be here. And hey, I unloaded the biggest pumpkin I've ever seen last night.
Really?
Yeah, the grower got here early, so we unloaded them, kept them in the warehouse, and it's not on a standard size pallet. It's on like a 6-foot pallet.
They had to customize and build the pallet.
It's a 6x6 pallet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is enormous.
Okay.
So if you want to see some really, really big pumpkins, come to Center Street today. So we were thinking we were going to break the Idaho record for sure, because we've got a grower coming from Idaho, and I think the Idaho record is like 1,400 pounds, and we're estimating he's at like 1,800 pounds, and so we're pretty sure we're going to break an Idaho record. There's a good chance we will break the Utah state record here at the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival today. Yeah. So we're super excited. Of course, we're going to have a new Center Street Giant Festival record as well too. So yeah. So amazing.
Someone will be crowned the Center Street Giant.
Exactly. Today around 4:30. So if you really want to see us crown the next winner and award the heavyweight champion belt that we have for him.
Okay.
That's going to be around 4:30 today. But so many fun things happening today.
Yeah, we are coming to you live from Anderson Seed and Garden as the festivities will all get kicked off at about 11 o'clock. And there's a full schedule of events, and we'll be talking about some of those coming up today. But first, a number of guests that we have lined up on the show, and we will be able to take some calls later on in the show as well.
And we call them special guests.
Special guests are definitely, after all the work they've done over the last year.
Man.
We'll call them special guests. And would you like to introduce the first one?
Oh, absolutely. This is Nicole. Nicole is from Hometown Values. Thanks for being on the show this morning.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Oh, it is wonderful to have you here. And, we have so many great sponsors for the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival. First off, I have to thank Cache Valley Bank. They've been so helpful to make things happen. But this year we have Cache Valley Electric that jumped on, Hometown Values that jumped on. Lee's has been amazing.
Yes.
They've got a huge booth out here, and I ate some of their carameled popcorn. I had a little sample
It's good.
yesterday. It was so good. We devoured the whole bag.
Yes.
It was gone.
Yes.
So, but we couldn't do what we do without help from sponsors like Hometown Values.
Yeah,
So,
and we're happy to help. We love being a part of the community and seeing this great event happen.
That's been great. You
Yeah.
know, every year when we do our covers, it's amazing how many people come in and they'll actually bring us copies of the covers. they think we don't have one already. But it's so sweet. It is so thoughtful.
Yes.
Everyone who brings one in, I'm just like, that is so thoughtful. It's like they love the picture, they love what we're doing, and they took the time to cut that out and bring it to us. And I'm just like, that is awesome. That is so cool.
That is. It's great to see the support from the community and all that too.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we'll go to the grocery store and like, hey, I saw you somewhere. It's like, yeah, I was on the home. That's it. That's one. You know, it's like, and you know, we're not like self-conscious anymore because we've like done it so many times.
Right. No, that's okay. But we love it.
But it is great.
Yeah.
And then you really stepped up this year and got us on to Good Things Utah.
Yeah, that was fun, and it was a great piece. You guys did a wonderful job and a great interview.
I'm so glad I had a handler while I was there because I go in and I'm looking at all the names of the hosts and I'm like going, how the heck do you pronounce that? Like, every one of them has a beautiful name, and I'm looking at them going, okay, you pronounce that Nisha. All right, I totally would have got that from looking at it.
Well, it was fun.
She was so awesome.
Yeah.
She was so great to
they
work
do
with.
a great job.
Yeah. And it was really fun to go down there and see the studio and how they produce everything.
Yeah.
And then they brought me on and we just talked pumpkins the whole time.
Yep.
And she was like so excited about how you grow a giant pumpkin that she was like, I need to talk to you for like 10 more minutes.
Right. Well, I don't think a lot of people realize it's a different seed. You have to have that specific seed that will grow that big. I didn't realize that.
You know, and we had a friend over last night, and he was the winner last year.
Wow.
And we were talking seed genetics, and he's like, hey, I got this one pumpkin seed last year from like the world record holder last year. And he's like, it was terrible. Like the seed he's just like, the seed just
never took off.
He said it just had problems right from the get-go, and he had a couple of them, and he's like, the one that I grew last year, that genetics from that seed, he's like, it was bred in Alaska and Wyoming. And he's in Wyoming, so he's got like some different growing conditions.
Right.
And this other one was like its parentage was from farther south. Okay. And he's like, it amazing.
That's incredible.
It's like so much better. But
incredible.
Anyway,
it's great.
It is, and it's a lot of fun. But we just love our partnership with Hometown Values.
Yeah,
and,
we do too.
It's really it's a great way to reach out to the community and just kind of showcase ourselves from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. And we love doing this and being a part of the community. If you haven't picked up a magazine for a while, pick it up. We've definitely been making it more local, and we work hard on the calendar to make sure people know about the events happening.
There's a lot of events in there. There's a lot of events in there, so you can flip the page open. It's just on the
it's always on the inside front cover.
And it's just like, oh, this is what's happening. And, and you partner with like the tourism board here in Cache Valley, and Julie's going to be on the show.
Oh, great.
At the end too. So, but they know what's going on in the valley, all the time.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure people know. Excuse me.
Every week, I get an email from Julie, from Laura at the Tourism Bureau, and it's got like, this is what's happening this week.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of stuff.
We have a lot of things going on here in Cache Valley.
It's very, very helpful to have that in the Hometown Values, and you get that every month, and it's like. There's all the fun things that are happening.
Yeah.
You can almost plan your calendar around it.
Yes.
And our calendar's almost ready, too. So we're working on our calendar for next year. So for those of you that are listening, our 2025 calendar will be out the end of October, 1st of November this year. And I got my fingers crossed. Last year it didn't come out till like the 1st of December. I know it was really, really late, but we've been a little bit more on top of it. And the Pumpkin Festival hasn't absorbed every spare minute of our lives for the last month.
Yes,
like it did last
year.
So, But that's so cool.
Great.
Anything else happening with Hometown Values that we need to know about?
We're just trying to help businesses as much as we can. Yeah. My focus is here in Cache Valley. I live here in Cache Valley as well, so I'm motivated to help the businesses here. So anything I can do to help businesses grow, I do all kinds of advertising, not just the print, but digital and traditional media. We set all that up. So. And
that radio ad you put together for us was great.
Yeah, good.
I really liked that one. So hopefully somebody heard
Wonderful.
it. Yeah, hopefully somebody heard it.
Hope so too.
Yeah. So we'll track today and see how many people actually come from outside of the valley that were touched by the advertising that we put out there. So we're excited to see results.
Yeah, we are too.
All right, super. Nicole, thank you so much for being on the show this morning.
Thanks for having me.
thank you for your support and for your
Of
help to
course.
make the Pumpkin Festival amazing.
Of course.
All right, super.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Okay, we're not taking calls today, are we, Will?
We can,
Oh, can we?
and phone lines are open
There we
at
go.
435-753-5868 or 435-752-5868. So, yeah, we can talk a little gardening if the time opens up.
If it happens. Yeah.
But you've lined us up a number of guests to talk to, and so we'll just continue to talk about the Pumpkin Festival too.
That works great. Yeah, that works awesome. So they're getting set up right now. So vendors are coming in, and we have 110 vendors this year.
Now, to put that in comparison, last year you had about half that,
We had
right?
54.
Yeah.
We had 54 food and gift and just kind of booths where people were doing activities with kids and
Mm-hmm.
families and stuff. And so this year we have 110.
Yeah, so if you imagine just how big it was last year, now double
It's
that.
doubled it. Yeah, it's doubled it. We have more pumpkins, so we got more growers.
Yeah.
We've got double the amount of carvers, so we're carving 4 pumpkins this year instead of just 2, and that's like really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean it's fun to just sit there and watch them carve the pumpkins. So we're super excited about that. More food options, and then we've like quadrupled our music. So last year we just had like the headliner at the end of the Pumpkin
It
Festival.
was just on the one stage on Center
yeah.
Street.
But we've got music going on in the plaza
Yeah.
all afternoon. So starting at 11 o'clock, we've got bands going at 11, at 1, and at 3 o'clock. And from 2 until 3, we've got the pie eating contest with the Crust Club.
That is going to be over at the Plaza
And
as
so
well.
the plaza as well too. So there's a lot happening at the plaza, and our vendors kind of go from Center Street and kind of they spread all the way over to the plaza, and so it kind of makes a natural progression for you to kind of come and hang out on Center Street and then go over to the plaza and see what's happening over there, and then you come back for the giant weigh off. And the schedule is like we start at 11. We should start with weighing off the youth pumpkins, and then as soon as that's done, we'll go right into the specialty produce. And so there's like giant watermelons. Hopefully we get a giant watermelon. It was a bad watermelon grow season, so we'll see if we get a giant watermelon. There's giant tomatoes. There's giant field pumpkins. I've got one grower who's bringing about a 200-pound like regular jack-o'-lantern.
Wow.
It's like huge, and it's gorgeous. Like it looks like this perfect,
Just the perfect
pumpkin,
size,
but
perfect
it's
color.
about 200 pounds. Yeah.
Okay.
It's massive. So that's really cool. So there's some specialty categories like that. So they'll have those, and then we'll go right into the adult giant pumpkins. Yeah, and we're talking. I've seen a couple out there that are 300 or 400 pounds, and we're going to be 1,000, 1,500. 2,000. Wow. Yeah, we got some 2,000-pound monsters that are out here. So really fun to see who wins and who gets crowned the Center Street Giants.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
Well, we've got another guest who is joining us, and I'll let you introduce him.
We got Brent Wallace here from Cache Valley Bank. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning. It's great to be on with you, Mark.
I am so glad you could come back again this year.
You know, we loved this festival last year. It was a lot of fun. It was really an easy decision to sponsor it again and rerun it.
Yes, yes. And with your help, we've been able to get more vendors and more activities and just more fun all around. And this is it's just family fun, and that's kind of what Cache Valley stands for.
You know, we love seeing this downtown area of Logan be so vibrant.
Yeah.
You know, Center Street is just working out to be such a great community gathering place.
For sure.
I don't think anybody minds the road being closed every other weekend for some event.
Especially
we
on
love
Saturdays when the bank is closed.
All my employees don't mind it.
They don't care at all.
You know, we had to kick a few people out of the parking lot last night, but, I hope we didn't, offend any Cache Valley Bank employees.
Nope, on the contrary. They love it. They love being part of how vibrant this is. In fact, I was talking to Lance Zollinger, our president over the Cache region last year, and he's like, I got to grow a pumpkin. I got to grow a pumpkin. And we never did. Both of us had ideas to, but we never did last year.
A couple of my employees got really excited about it, and they both had a pumpkin going. And one of my employees, unfortunately, it got eaten by deer, and it got hit by that frost in June. And I mean, it's just like every little thing that happens just
could
mess them up. Yeah. And we were talking to some of the growers this spring, and there's somebody that had a couple pumpkins that were over 2,000 pounds, and a week and a half ago they split on the bottom. I mean, so
they just took too much.
There's so much stuff that can happen to it. It's really difficult to grow a nice, intact, full-size pumpkin. So that's cool. But thanks so much to Cache Valley Bank. It's a pleasure working with you. You guys take care of us whenever we have needs. And in fact, we just bought a new truck, and I didn't like the financing options that they gave me at the dealership. And it wasn't for me. This is for Logan Extermination. And so I just called up Dan Balls, and I was like, Dan, what can you do for me? He's like, don't worry, I got you taken care of. Yep. And like I went over there 3 days later, and it's like, here's your check, sign right here, you're set.
You know, that really is our sweet spot is banking small businesses.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what we do. We're local, and the decisions are made local. We love local deposits to come in because, you know, it's that whole shop local vibe, right? Yeah. When you deposit your money at Cache Valley Bank, it's going to get lent out to the local businesses. It's going to turn that economy 6 or 7 times over and just really help make the whole community a better place.
Yeah. Now, what a lot of people don't know is in my office, I have a check that's on the wall, and it's framed. And it was written out to my grandfather. So it's written out to Moroni Anderson, and it's for $5, and it's from 1915. And that was a check that he received for working where he was working at that time for a whole week.
$5.
$5, yeah. And guess who it's from?
It's from Cache Valley Bank.
Yeah, it's a Cache Valley Bank check. It's blue. It's got like a stamp on it. And,
you know,
it's one of my favorite things in my office. It's really cool because it was my grandfather's check, and my dad found it many years ago.
You know, there's quite a story, and I wish I could say that our roots were those same roots, but you know, we started as North Park Bank of Commerce back in the mid '70s, and then the name Cache Valley Bank was forgotten, and we were able to pick it up back then.
We'll just pretend it's the same genetics. Yeah,
I found some historic coins from that Cache Valley, that original Cache Valley Bank too. We've got a few of those floating.
We'll have to do a little research and find out who was like, you know, the principal of that bank. But I just think it's really cool. And when people come in and they see it and they're just like, there's a Cache Valley Bank check. It's like, yes, there is.
Well, you know, Brent,
cool.
you talked about how Cache Valley Bank prides themselves on working with small businesses. You look at what's happened on Center Street in the last 10 years, and it's a testament of that. I mean, Cache Valley Bank was one of the first that began remodeling with this idea of, hey, we want to beautify this area. And at the time, you know, you guys were the first ones to start, and everyone else was like, is this really going to work?
Yeah.
And you guys had a vision back then of something that now we're seeing, and it's like, wow, look at, you know, you talked about shutting Center Street down and bringing over 15,000 people down onto Center Street. It's all a tribute to what you guys started years ago.
You know, and what we found years ago, we ran a promotion back in, I think it was 2007, before a lot of the remodels started. We ran a promotion. We just used our windows in that First North and Main building to advertise that promotion, and it went like wildfire. And we quickly found that, hey, our buildings are some of our best advertisement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so then that really made the decision easy. Well, if they're our best advertisement, then they ought to be branded quality like the institution we're trying to run.
Yeah.
And so that led to the remodels. And then, you know, we've hit massive growth. And so with that growth, you either expand up or you expand out.
Yeah.
And so we've been able to take a number of buildings right here in downtown, and as we've needed more space, be able to help turn those, remodel those, and update, refresh those buildings as well.
We couldn't have remodeled our building without Cache Valley Bank, and I'm sure there's other customers of yours right here on Center Street as well too. That you know our businesses can't function without that cash flow. You know, it's like you need it. When we started out, you know, it's like you start with what you've got, and if you want to make it grow, you gotta have some funding from somewhere. And so Cache Valley Bank's been such a great partner to help us grow our business here on Center Street for Anderson Seed and Garden, but also for Logan Extermination as well too. And we are so proud. Yesterday we sent off our last check for our last payment
For the remodel?
For Logan Extermination.
Oh.
For Logan Extermination.
So it's done.
So it's now at 11 years.
Congratulations. You know, we always say that, you know, is we have risks when we make a loan.
Oh, yeah.
When it pays off, it was always a good loan.
You know, when we redid the store and we had to take out that big loan to remodel the store, and it was like $500,000, you know, and my dad just about like lost it right there. You know, he's just like, oh my gosh, you're so much in debt. I can't believe how you're doing it. And then all of a sudden he saw what we were building back, and then he got excited, and then he saw the vision of what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, you'll be good. You know, don't worry about it. You're good.
And Mark, one of the great things that we love to see as bankers is getting into businesses when they start something new.
Right.
And yeah, then they're mostly our lending customers. They need more loans than they keep deposits at the bank.
Yeah.
But our job is to help coach them and support them to where they turn that, they pay off their loans, and then they become the deposit side of the bank.
Right.
And they stay as great deposit customers and build those deposit balances.
And that's we're turning that page, because now my wife and I are to the point where we're like, I don't want to buy another business. let's just do what we're doing and just kind of keep things vibrant downtown. So we've not changed our focus from the store, but it's really fun for us to put on events like this, you know, for the Pumpkin Festival. And we don't do it because we're going to make any money on it. We actually spend way more money than what we would ever make doing it, but it's just fun. It's just really fun, and just to watch how many people come and to see people's eyes light up when they see these giant pumpkins today. That's our payment right there. Yeah, it's like so much fun. So
well, it's giving back to the community, and it's something Cache Valley Bank has done, not just here on Center Street, but
really is.
You know, you talk about the way in which you guys have revitalized areas throughout this valley and throughout this state. Think of the grain silo out in Hiram. You know, and
that's
some
so
of the
cool
other
too. Every time I drive by, it's like, that is so cool.
Yeah,
because I remember where it was before.
Have you been to the top of it?
Never been to the top.
You should go in and ask Brenda, our branch manager there, to get a tour to the top. It's fabulous. We have
top.
Remember Brenda. Yeah.
We have a lot of high school students from Mountain Crest request that in the evenings for prom date dinners and stuff like that, and we love to facilitate that and let people up there and use that tower. It's a unique piece and fun.
I remember right where that was in Hiram, so I remember that.
Yeah, I think most of us passed by that on the way to South Cache. If you went to South Cache, you know, it was right on that bus route.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I think my wife went to South Cache for like 1 year, and then she was at Mountain Crest. But that's all right. Yeah. Brent, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate the time and appreciate all your work in putting together this great pumpkin festival. It's a lot of fun.
And we can't do it without Cache Valley Bank. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are live at the Giant Pumpkin Festival on Center Street at Anderson Seed and Garden, and we'll be able to take some phone calls and talk a little bit about gardening and lawns. I was out in the lawn last night, and you know, Mark, we're seeing a lot of weeds,
and
a lot of dandelions and clover.
I've got people coming in all of a sudden that are seeing sod webworm in their lawn as well too. We haven't seen much all year, but we're starting to see just a little bit of sod worm popping up. So
yeah. Meanwhile, if your garden is still producing like ours is, man, we're picking beans every week.
Yeah.
We've run out of bottles. We're starting to try to find more people just to give them away to.
The squash vines are kind of starting to die down. I've got people coming and saying, hey, do I need to harvest my squash? It's like, yep, you can start doing it. We like a little bit of a frost, but if the vines are starting to die down, we can do that. So I've got tons of butternut and honey baby, and I've got some kabocha as well too. And then we harvested the giant pumpkins this week. That was pretty cool. So there's a little snippet of a video that I think is on our Instagram and Facebook page of us hauling that pumpkin out of my garden. Yeah. So we had to use a skid steer, and we've got a harness that goes around the pumpkin, pick it up, then you put it on a pallet, and you can grab the pallet and move it out. So it's pretty complicated, but if you know what you're doing, we got like 3 pumpkins out of the garden in like 30 minutes.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, so really it wasn't too bad, but I wouldn't try to do it without a skid steer.
Well, and you know, on the KVNU trading post over the last several weeks, we've had a lot of people who have sent in or called in saying, hey, we've got so many apples this year, we don't know what to do with them, so they're selling them, they're giving them away. And I know a lot of people are asking, how can you preserve those apples as long as possible? Because, they do. You pick them, and they can ripen real quickly and go bad. And so there are a few ways that if you can move them down into a cold, dark area, you can at least keep them for a few weeks.
Right. And then the key with storing vegetables is to make sure and not store your fruit with it.
Yeah,
as
keep
well
them
too.
separated.
Yeah, because the fruit, as it starts to decompose, it will create ethylene gas, and the ethylene makes the vegetables ripen faster, and so it'll make them deteriorate quicker as well too. So we'll always keep our apples and our pears in a separate location from our like squashes and onions and potatoes.
Vegetables.
Yeah, because it will decompose those. But if you want your green tomatoes to ripen up, then put those
right next to your
with
bananas.
With the fruits. You put them out there with the fruits, and then the ethylene will make your tomatoes ripen up because they are fruits.
See, we put our green tomatoes right next to we've got a little hanger for bananas.
Yeah.
Put those green tomatoes right there, and
they'll
just
ripen
ripens them right up.
Right up. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
We are coming to you live from Anderson Seed and Garden as the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival will get underway at 11 o'clock this morning, and we'll give you a rundown of some of the big events that are going to be happening coming up after the break, as we've got our bottom of the hour news break, and then we'll be coming back, and maybe we can squeeze in a few calls.
We've got pumpkin decorating, we've got art projects, we've got carving, we've got games, everything.
I'm Will Theorite with your KVNU News update this hour. It's brought to you by Roof Rescue. The bodies of 2 men aboard a single-engine plane that crashed into Utah Lake early Friday morning have been recovered. Officials said the plane, a Cirrus SR-22, was cleared to land at the Provo airport when it went down in the water at around 10 a.m. Now, the bodies of both men were recovered during the evening. Because the plane was sitting in about 8.5 feet deep of water, crews had initial trouble in the recovery efforts. Now, the pilot was identified as 43-year-old Michael Hiram Cox of St. George, while the passenger was 46-year-old Mark Andrew Johnson of Washington, who was a father of 6. Now, several witnesses saw the plane crash and called 911 to report the incident. Provo Fire and Police, along with the Utah Highway Patrol dive team and Utah County Sheriff's Office search and rescue, were all dispatched to the scene. The state park was closed during the rescue efforts. Well, in high school football Friday night, it was a tough one for Logan as they got beat by Ridgeline 68-0, while Skyview downed Bear River 20-14. Mountain Crest beat Green Canyon 28-14. In other games around the area, Spanish Fork beat Westfield 49-20. Viewmont beat Box Elder 49-21. Rich blanked Bear Lake 14-0. Declo blanked Westside 6-0. Malad beat Soda Springs 35-6. Well, that weather forecast looking at more clear skies and warm temperatures to continue, as we're going to see daytime temperatures staying in the high 80s the next several days. Overnight temperatures expected to stay right around the mid-40s. And as we head into next week, temperatures are going to start to drop into the low 80s for Monday and Tuesday. By about Thursday, we're going to get back into the 70s. You always get local news at the bottom of the hour, national and world news coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Will Theorite for KVNU News.
I'm Alex Obario. Big trade in the NBA late on Friday. The New York Knicks getting a new big man in a late-night blockbuster. The Knicks acquire 4-time All-Star Karl Anthony Towns in exchange for Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle and a first-round pick. Sources confirmed the trade to ESPN after The Athletic first reported details of the talks. Towns helped lead the Timberwolves to the Western Conference Finals, but he heads back to the New York area. Monica McNutt, ESPN NBA analyst, on the trade.
This Knicks front office has been very diligent about capitalizing on the moment. And obviously, the issues at center in particular going into this season were at the forefront in the top line item to be addressed. This, in fact, does do that. I think both teams are actually getting a piece that they believe will help move them forward.
Towns is in the first year of his 4-year Supermax contract. He signed with the Wolves back in 2022. The Charlotte Hornets are expected to receive draft considerations as the third team involved in the trade. Training camp begins next week. A wild finish in Miami as the 7th-ranked Miami Hurricanes survive what was initially ruled a successful Hail Mary from Virginia Tech, but after review, Kyron Drone's pass that was initially caught by Daquan Felton was bobbled and touched by a Hurricanes player out of bounds. The Hurricanes squeaked past the Hokies 38-34. Miami rallied from a 10-point deficit in the fourth to move to 5-0. Mario Cristobal.
Sloppy, but we kept fighting. We lost 5-6 guys to injury, and we kept going, and at the end found a way, and it came down to half an inch, you know. So proud of this team. A lot of work to do, but came out with a W.
Miami now 5-0. Heisman hopeful Cam Ward threw for 343 yards, threw for 4 touchdowns, and ran for another in the 4-point win. The Detroit Tigers are back in the postseason for the first time in 10 years. They beat the White Sox 4-1. The win clinches one of the final 2 wild card spots in the American League. In the process, handed the White Sox their 121st loss, the most in a baseball season since 1900. Tigers will face the AL West champion Houston Astros or the Baltimore Orioles in the wild card series. The Royals lost their game to the Braves 3-0, but clinched the playoff spot as well after the Twins fell to the Orioles 7-2.
Join in the fun Saturday, September 28th for the 2nd annual Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival. This family fun event will run from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on historic Center Street in Logan. This is an all-day fall celebration with Center Street coming to life with live music, food, art, children's activities, and lots of giant pumpkins on display as they fight for the title of Center Street Giant. For more info, go to centerstreetgiant.com or call 752-2345. Sponsored by Cache Valley Bank and Anderson Seed and Garden.
The Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
And we welcome you back to the Garden Guide as we are coming to you live from the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival at Anderson Seed and Garden. Now, all of the events will be getting underway at about 11 o'clock this morning, and then continue all afternoon. And we'll talk about some of those events here in just a few minutes. But first, we want to take a few minutes and talk just to some of the sponsors, Mark, that have helped put the Giant Pumpkin Festival together.
Absolutely.
And, one of those is joining us right now.
Yes, we've got Haley with Lee's Marketplace.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being on the show today. It's been fun just watching everybody set up. I saw you come in like first thing, 7 o'clock. You're like,
yeah.
You were set up so quick. Ready to go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We were just so excited. I just can't believe it's already here.
The popcorn that you brought, it is delicious.
Yes, we brought 4 of our flavors today, and there's some of our favorites and some new ones that are fun to try. So samples as well as spy. We have, of course, the classic caramel, which is just
and I got a package like yesterday, and it was gone in like 5 minutes. And it was like so good. Well, I started on it, and then my wife came and she's like, "Oh, that's really good." And then it's like, "No, this is mine." You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was half gone before I got back to it. So
yep.
yeah,
and it's just a fall staple. Caramel popcorn is.
Yeah, but you said you had some different flavors.
Yes,
too.
So we brought our caramel as well as our cheddar, and you can actually in the store buy a mix of the bag. I was going to let you know the caramel cheddar mix is interesting but phenomenal, sweet and salty. Yeah. Then we also brought 2 flavors. One's a Halloween special that we have every fall. It's called Spooky Fruity, that you can try.
That doesn't sound. Is that like Fruity Pebbles?
Similar.
Yeah.
It's very unique. It's got lots of different colors in it.
Spooky Fruity.
And then the last one is actually a salt and vinegar popcorn.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's like
That's
way
a good one.
Hey, thank you so much. Lee's really stepped up this year and like sponsored and been so supportive. Thank you so much.
I wish I could say it was me, but as we were talking earlier, the Badger family that owns and runs these,
they're just great.
They are the greatest. Absolute just anchors in the community.
Yeah, they are.
You know, the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival is all about just having fun and bringing your family and just enjoying what's going on. So whether there's activities or you just want to come listen to music or you just want to see giant pumpkins, it's so much fun. And they can have a little snack from Lee's and they can grab a little food over at the food court. And there's just something for everyone to come. And it's not I think I'll go for a half an hour. It's like you're going to get stuck here for hours.
Absolutely. I know. We absolutely loved it last year. So we were like, we got to come back even bigger this year.
And that's what happens at Lee's because I get out there and I'm like, I'm going to get this. Oh, no, wait a minute. I got to check this out.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
So that's how that works. So.
Well, and congratulations, Haley, because I saw Lee's Marketplace just opened a new store. And, you know, it's pretty amazing. Before we went on air just a few minutes ago, we were reminiscing because I was part of the old Jack's Food Town days. That was where I worked as a high school kid.
Jack's. Yeah, I totally remember.
And at the time, you know, they built the first store in Smithfield, and we thought, yeah, this is great. This is what, you know, the dream that Lee always had.
Yeah.
And the dream has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and Sherry and John have continued Lee's legacy. I mean, they were like family to me and to many others. As we grew up in high school, they gave us a chance to do stuff and work for them.
I've had at least 10 employees that worked for us for like many years that all started at Lee's.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They started as a bagger, or like they were doing produce in the back room. It's like you're too young. We don't want you going out on the floor. You get to.
I know. We were talking with our chief officer over operations, Jared McDonald. I was talking with him the other day as we were doing an orientation for new employees at the Mountain Green store, and his first job doesn't even exist anymore because it was so bad, and it was the garbage collector. He had to run around and take about all the garbages in that first Lee's in Smithfield.
We need somebody to do garbages today. So
I'll call Jared. I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
Come on over. No, because it's like there's so many people that are here that we have to go and empty the garbages a couple times during the day. So so we're prepared. Yeah, we're prepared for that. I hope everybody rolled the garbage cans out already. So we'll find out.
And Lee's has just had a huge impact on this community.
Yeah.
Both Lee Badger, the love he had for working with youth. He was a scouter. He loved the Blue Sox and Smithfield, the baseball team, and his legacy lives on for many of us.
Just such great supporters. I mean, we have so many great supporters here in the Valley, and of course, a bunch of them are sponsoring the Giant Pumpkin Festival. So between Cache Valley Bank and Cache Valley Electric and Lee's, and the Herald Journal and the Cache Valley Media Group. It's just like every time I see a big event, those are the names that are always on there.
Absolutely. And it makes you realize at times like this just how big your village is. It takes a village to make something as amazing as this happen, which is what Sherry and I were talking about with the new store opening, of just the dream that Lee and Sherry had from the beginning could not have been done without the incredible community of Cache Valley and how much support there has been.
Yep, absolutely. So that's why it's so much fun for us to put on events like this, because the community does come out and then they have so much fun, and then they come and let us know. They're like, "Oh, it's so much fun. This was great. Thank you for putting it on." And we're just like, that's the whole reason we're doing it, is just to make it fun. And it's fall, and the leaves are changing colors, and throw giant pumpkins in there, and it's just like, this is a perfect event.
It's a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. If you see some of the videos we took from last year, it's like I had people just go, "This is just like a Hallmark event." It's like, really.
Absolutely.
It was really
and then we do
fun.
Christmas, and then they're like, "Oh, now this really is a Hallmark event."
So the popcorn will be available all day today at the Lee's Marketplace
as long as
tent.
a couple other things.
Yeah.
So we'll have popcorn, and then we have, of course, our classic pink sugar cookie, but it's going to be orange today.
Nice.
And my favorite cookie that we make in the bakeries is a pumpkin doodle. It's a mix between a pumpkin cookie and a snickerdoodle cookie. So the two best are across.
Amazing.
And then as well, we are bringing some candied nuts to try.
Cool. And you said you thought about bringing some cider, but...
Yep, we're going to see if we can make some freshly squeezed apple juice come.
That doesn't sound bad. That doesn't sound bad at all, so... Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
so much
absolutely.
fun. Haley, thank you so much for being on the show. And pass our thanks on to the Badger family. Amazing. So helpful this year, so thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Right.
We are live at Anderson Seed and Garden. The Giant Pumpkin Festival on Center Street gets underway at 11 o'clock, and all sorts of festivities. Free movies over at the Utah Theater. They're going to be showing It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Paranorman.
And that starts at like 11:30, I think, and it goes every hour at the 12:30, and every hour on the bottom of the hour is the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and then Paranormal at 5. And I think they might show it again at 7.
Okay.
Yes, they were talking about showing it again at 7. So, so much fun. Music at the Lob Plaza. There's a group performing at 11 and also at 1, and then again at 3, and then at 5 o'clock on the main stage. After we're done doing the Way Off, we've got the Lonely Hearts Club band will be playing, and they'll play for about 2 hours. So they're gonna play for a long time. Yeah, and they do Beatles cover.
Beatles tribute.
Yeah, Beatles tribute band, and they're really good. So yeah, should be a lot of fun. But we've got pumpkin decorating right here in front of Anderson's. We've got temporary tattoos. We've got tons of different games going on, and just a lot of fun for kids and for families. And there's music and there's food and just a little bit of everything going on. But one of my favorite things is the pumpkin carvers. We've got 4 carvers going today, and so you can come and just watch them create art all day. So
these guys are a lot better than I am just cutting triangles in the pumpkin.
It's amazing.
Pushing that out.
Aaron, who's going to be here.
They're 3D.
I know. He did a really cool one last year that was like a giant ogre head is what I would call it. But I saw one that he did last night that was just amazing, and he did it out of a big giant butternut squash, and it was huge. And it was like somebody's head, but there was a octopus that had like grabbed onto his head from behind. It was really cool. Yeah, it was really spooky though. Yeah, it was actually a little creepy, but yeah, but it was awesome. So,
well, we have another guest we would like to welcome, and she is one who was with us last year to start this off. And Julie Hollis-Terrell from the Cache Valley Visitors Bureau. I think as we look back on last year, many of us, we went into this and thought, what's this going to be like? We're hoping for a party, but who knows? This is the first time we've ever done it. And it was so big last year, Julie. It was just so exciting. And it's great to have you back this year.
Thank you so much. What an awesome event to be involved with. I'm really proud of Mark Anderson and all the many great downtown people, community people he's pulled together.
And Ronette, too.
And Ronette, of course.
Don't forget,
yes,
don't
of course,
forget
Ronette as well.
I will be in trouble if we don't mention
Well, it's just because I'm sitting right by you, so you're top of mind. But yes, and your team, everybody who's worked together to pull this off, and it is going to be bigger and better than ever. Well, you'd think that wasn't saying much, but last year for the first year was so impressive and remarkable. And there were people, my favorite was just seeing all the families and several generations at a time being together and just enjoying the activities and the ambiance and the weather, and it's going to be a perfect day today.
And we can't do it without you and without your team. And like Laura's like my favorite person.
Oh, I'm so glad. She's great.
She is like the sweetheart. Yeah, I love her.
Well, I was at the State Tourism Conference this week, and I mentioned, we've got two big festivals going on today.
The Cache Valley Cheese and Dairy Festival.
As well.
So exciting.
And I mentioned this to a small group of like 450 people, and went berserk. They were tackling me in the hallway after it was over to be like, no, tell me about these festivals. Tell me about the pumpkins. I've got to come and see them. And you know what? Everybody needs to come and see them. Yeah, imagine
And everybody loves cheese, too.
And everybody loves cheese, and everybody loves ice cream. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. It's a great day.
I was telling you the other day, I like the really aged cheese that have gone, crystallized.
It's sort of scary.
So delicious. I know. So good. Those hard cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
So yummy.
Well, so much has happened. We were talking with Brent earlier, Wallace from Cache Valley Bank, about just how downtown Logan has just undergone this transformation over the last 10 years that, for some of us who have lived in the valley for years and years, the Center Street of today is just nothing like what it was 40 years ago. And
even just a few years ago.
Yeah, even 6 years ago. Yeah.
And so much of Cache Valley is that same way. The festivals that are being held now, and I think of like the Bear 100s going on right now. They had over 300 runners this year from all over the country.
So we know there are at least 300 completely insane people in the nation. For people who are listening who don't know what that is you start and you run 100 miles through the mountains without stopping. It takes more than 24 hours.
Yeah, they have 36 hours to do it.
36 hours. Good night.
And they're incredible people.
I'd only run if I were being chased by a murderer. And that wouldn't even last very long. So maybe a bear.
Yeah, maybe the bear.
Maybe.
But so much happening in Cache Valley now. And Cache Valley Tourism and the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce has been such a part of that. And bringing all of it together with the tourism group. And you're amazing. How you spread the word.
Thank you. We're trying our best. And can I tell you, I know the listeners have been listening all about this fabulous Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival, but can I also tell a little about what's going on?
Absolutely.
You should do both.
Because we mentioned that to start the show, that it's if you want to know what's happening in Cache Valley, you are the source.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
You are the source for it. So.
Well, thank you. So I think what you should know is that we've got this wonderful festival here, and then we've also got the Cache Cheese and Dairy Festival going on down at the fairgrounds at the Event Center. It's the 4th annual, and it's spectacular. So it actually starts an hour before this one. So this starts at 10 a.m., and they're going to start right off with Alpenhorns. So if you don't know what those are, if you've ever seen the Ricola commercials, those Longhorns, and what they're going to do is they're going to perform, but they're also going to give people a chance to learn how to do it themselves. And if you're the winner of the group that you play with, then you get a brick of cheese. That's your prize. So
nice.
That's cool. But there's so many great things. So of course, plenty of samples of all kinds of cheeses and yogurt and ice cream and boxed milk and whatever might come along. There are going to be some free little workshops about learning how to taste cheese, gourmet cheeses, how it smells, how you should smell it and enjoy it, and what the texture of it is.
And there's enough time to go to the Cheese and Dairy Festival
and
come to the Pumpkin Festival. That's like if you come downtown, it's a Logan right now, you got like a whole day's worth of fun.
Oh, at least a whole day's worth of fun. We've also got the Gardeners Market going on just 2 blocks from here. So that's full of vegetables and fruits and just arts.
Yeah, because the Pumpkin Festival doesn't start till 11. So we're still setting up out there right now, and then we'll start weighing off some of the kids' category pumpkins at like 11 o'clock. But that's when the music starts over in the plaza.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And, of course, just a couple blocks, like where I was talking about with the Gardeners Market, they've got live music as well, and they even have a live turkey you can pet.
Live turkey? I think I'll pass. They have music over at the Gardeners Market, like, consistently, don't they?
Yep, every week they've got live music there.
Not bad.
So also if you go down to the Cheese and Dairy Festival, I think it's great. They have a pretend cow that's life-size that kids or adults can practice learning how to milk a cow if you've always wanted to do that.
I was going to say I would rather pet the cow
than
the turkey.
Well, they've got a workshop on how to taste chocolates from around the world. Aggie Chocolate Company is going to be there conducting that workshop. They've got little classes on how to cook cheesy things in the air fryer, different lectures, music going on the entire time. And this afternoon, they're going to actually have a cheesemonger come and show you what it takes to crack a 75-pound wheel of Parmesan Reggiano cheese.
That's what they're actually called, a cheesemonger, huh?
Yeah, cheesemonger. I don't know. I feel like that doesn't sound complimentary, but I think that it is. There's lots of kids' activities and
cheesemonger.
Just like like they're hunting for. They've hidden little Jersey cows all over, and the kids find those as well. So
scavenger hunt.
Thank you.
And we've got a scavenger hunt going on Center Street too, and I keep forgetting to tell people about it.
Oh yeah,
that's really fun.
So we had like 300 families participate last year. We got some great prizes. Like it's a package of prizes. It's worth like $1,000.
Oh my goodness!
So you want to participate in the scavenger hunt? Absolutely.
I'm going to leave this interview and just get ready and spy it all out.
Well, I think it takes about an hour to do the scavenger hunt. So,
cool.
Yeah. So.
We're talking with Julie Hollis-Taro from the Cache Valley Visitors Bureau here at Anderson Seed and Garden, and there's a lot of events that are happening. You mentioned the Cheese and Dairy Festival. We've got the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival this week. Aggie Homecoming is going to be coming up next month.
Yep.
So much that is bringing people to northern Utah. And one thing I noticed this year, a month ago, we were trying to find postcards of Cache Valley. We went all over, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I'll head into the Visitors Bureau.
Yep.
And turns out there's a number of things that for some of us who've lived here a long time, there's books on Sasquatch sightings in Logan Canyon and the stories of Old Ephraim and some of those things that if you're ever looking for something that is nostalgic of Cache Valley, the perfect gift idea, you really need to go in there. They're right in the historic courthouse.
Yeah.
They've got all sorts of great gift ideas.
Thank you for that shout out for our gift shop. I was really frustrated when I started my position years ago because there just wasn't anywhere or anything anywhere that you could find Cache Valley or Logan souvenirs. And, I have better things to do with my time than to run a gift shop. But for me, it's also an extension of marketing because anytime anyone goes anywhere wearing a Logan t-shirt or a Logan hat or anything branded Logan, then it's giving a little shout out for our beautiful area. So I was concerned about nowhere having postcards, and so we've printed our own, and that's why we have so many.
And you're the only place in this valley that you can get postcards
Pretty much, yeah. So come and see us. If you're dying for a list of things to do in Cache Valley, my husband and I wrote a book called 117 Amazing Things to Do in Logan and Cache Valley, Utah. So
that is awesome.
certainly give you some ideas. Even if you've lived here all your life, people still see that book and go, I never knew this. And that's kind of fun.
People probably don't even know where the Visitors Bureau is located.
Yes, thank you. It's in the historic courthouse right on the corner of 200 North and Main Street. It's what a beautiful location for people to start their visit.
It's a great place, and you're kind of there in the back on the south side. Easy to find.
Thank you. Hey, can we give a quick shout out to the Logan Pride Festival that's going on today as well?
At Willow Park.
Willow Park.
This afternoon, too. Yeah.
So we've got tons going on.
Yeah, so much. And thank you so much for the way in which you promote this valley.
Thank
you. To those outside of this valley.
I appreciate that.
Because, you see the excitement that people have now. Years ago, people would never think of coming from Salt Lake up to Logan for a giant pumpkin festival or the cheese and dairy festival or homecoming. And now we find that people are, I'm going to be spending the weekend in Logan.
That's true. And you know what, fall, this is really one of my favorite seasons is fall, but what a great opportunity for us to showcase our agricultural heritage in this valley during this fall season. And coming up in a couple of weeks as well, the American West Heritage Center will be having its Fall Harvest Festival.
Yeah, that is coming up.
Where they show how they do the threshing and the harvesting of the grain more than 100 years ago here in the valley, and all sorts of other apple cider making, the apple pressing and corn shelling, and all those kind of things. And then, of course, people always enjoy. We've got a couple of giant corn mazes that'll be available all from, I think, now until the end of October, and haunted downtown Logan tours. If anybody wants more information about some of those fall events, you're welcome to look on our website. We have a special page for our fall activities, and it's explorelogan.com/fall. So links to here if you're still wondering what exactly is happening and when, but the schedule and website for the Giant Pumpkin Festival, and also cheese and dairy, and pretty much everything else. Oh, and the leaves are stunning too.
They're gorgeous. And the way the weather is, they're going to stay pretty for like the next week or 10 days. So.
And you've heard it from the expert.
We're like at the peak. So we've had some growers that have driven through Logan Canyon to get here, and they're just like, it's so it's so beautiful. And we've got some growers that have come through Sardine to get here, and they're like, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's like I'm hearing it from both sides. So it's a gorgeous time of year, and it's just such a fun time of year as well too. We get into the fall because there's just cool things happening in Cache Valley, and it's so nice to know what's happening because of you.
Yeah, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Julie Hollis-Taro from the Cache Valley Visitors Bureau. And Mark, we've got just about 2 minutes left,
we got
so
2 minutes. Okay,
we can talk a little bit about some of the events that are going to be taking place today, the highlights, the scavenger hunt that you mentioned that we'd forgotten
We've
to talk
got
about.
a scavenger hunt happening downtown, and there are 16 stops, and we've got information here at Anderson's. I think we start at the information booth right here on Center Street, and then they will send you off to find all the clues, and I promise the clues are fairly easy to figure out. We tried to make it so it's like, it's pretty easy.
Fun family event.
Yeah, but you get to find a whole bunch of businesses, and I don't want to mention who's participating because then that gives away the clues. But it'll be a lot of fun. We got amazing prizes to give away to one of our lucky, whoever completes the scavenger hunt gets put into a drawing to win the prize, and it's like $1,000 worth of prizes.
Oh, great!
So it's an amazing scavenger hunt. But we've got pumpkin decorating going on. We've got the pie eating contest. We've got music going on all day at the plaza. So at 11, at 1, and at 3 o'clock, there's different bands playing in the plaza. And so a lot of fun going on over there. And the city's got some great activities for kids in the plaza at the same time. But if you come over here on Center Street, we've got 110 vendors and booths that are selling gifts and selling food and sharing great information, and just have some really fun activities for kids. I think we have 20 different booths that have just activities for kids.
Okay, everything from coloring to face painting
and art. You could make your own art.
Temporary tattoos.
Temporary tattoos, and just a whole bunch of different games and just fun things to do for fall. And so you can shop, you can grab a little something to eat, you can listen to some great music, and most importantly, you got to come see these giant pumpkins. There are some massive pumpkins out there right now. So we're hoping about 25 to 30 really big pumpkins here to weigh off this afternoon. And the big weigh off starts at about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and should be wrapping up around 4:30 when we'll announce the Center Street Giant for this year. Yep, the Giant for this year.
More than the big old belt.
Yep, exactly. We've got a great trophy, and we're hoping that we break an Idaho state record today. We're hoping and hopeful that we can also break a Utah state record. I think the Idaho state record's 1,400 pounds, and we've got a grower coming from, I think, Pocatello that's got a pumpkin that's going to beat that for sure. And then we've got a grower that's here from Vernal, and we think he's going to break the Utah record, which is 2,287 pounds.
Wow.
Yes. We're thinking it's a 2,300-pound pumpkin, and I unloaded it last night, and it's huge.
And almost broke the forklift,
it's huge.
I'm sure.
It did not break our 4,000-pound forklift, so we were good there, but I thought it was going to break the pallet.
All right. Well, we thank everyone
so
for joining us as we've been coming to you live from Anderson Seed and Garden. Again, the Giant Pumpkin Festival getting underway at 11 o'clock, continuing until 7 o'clock. Plenty of parking and a chance to come down and have a lot of fun with us here on Center Street in downtown Logan, and joining us next week.
Logan, 610 a.m. and 102.1 FM with the best talk and information.